Hey guys, Gathering Magic back again, and it's time for part 3 of the Splinterlands card market watch for March 1st, 2026. So we're going to do a deep dive into all the different card sets, starting of course with Alpha. So you can see here are Alpha commons. So your cheapest common currently is Rexy at 24 cents. See there's 22 available here. So look at the low number of cards that are available for sale for Alpha, and these are commons. These are not epics or legendaries. So let's go through the list. So starting at 24 cents all the way down to these two, where you can see the prices are $11.99 and $13.17, but of course there's only 2 copies available. One is a level 4 with 13 copies, the other one is a level 10. So these are not for individual cards. This one as well, 2 level 5s, 19 and 21 combined cards. You're looking at about 70 cents per card. So those are your commons. Moving next to the rares for Alpha. So you can see cheapest is $1.20, $1.58, $1.71. So most of the rares are $2 and up. Once again, very low liquidity on these. All the way up to $12.99 for the Earth Elemental, only 2 copies available. And that is for level 4, so you're looking at about $1.62 a piece. So pretty much between $1 and $2 for most of the Alpha rares. Next for the epics, there are only 10 epics in the set. All of them are represented here, ranging from $3.75 Magi of the Forest up to $19.99 for Mischievous Mermaid. And look at this, less than 10 of any of these on the market. Mischievous Mermaid, that is for an individual copy at $19.99, but if you get a higher level version, you could see you could get them as cheap as basically $5 per card. And that is for a max level. So there is a max level available for $160. And then finally your Alpha Legendary cards. 9 cards here, all represented, anywhere from $25 from the Elemental Phoenix up to $199 for Selenius Sky. Just a handful of each of these on the market. And then total in circulation, Elemental Phoenix, there's less than 400 total. Selenius Sky, same thing, just under 400 copies of an Alpha Legendary card. So 427. So it looks like between 400 and maybe 450, I would say, for Alpha common cards or legendary cards. Okay, let's move on to the gold foils. So once again, there's that Shield Warrior. He is there for $11.52. After that, it jumps to $20 as the next cheapest common. All the way up to $199.99 for the Minotaur Warrior. All these cards you can see basically 5 or less copies, so there's 6 for the Haunted Spider. So 6 or less copies for Alpha Gold Foil Commons currently on the marketplace. Rares, look, there's 20 of them in the set, but only 10 of them even for sale on the market. $59 for Ulrich, up to just under $1,000 for the Haunted Spirit. Epics, only 3 listed for sale. $120 for Mischievous Mermaid, $120 for Naga Warrior, and $459 for Defender of Truth. And then finally the legendaries, 3 available for sale. $1,500 for Angel of Light or Lord of Darkness, and then $3,950 for Spirit of the Forest. Okay, next let's look at the promo cards, and this is it, guys. There are no gold foil Alpha promos. The only regular foil promos are the common Dragon Whelp for $370 and rare Neb Seni for $698. And that is it for Alpha. So now let's look at Beta, starting with the core and reward cards. So 5 cents is the floor for Beta Commons, all the way up to $1.03 for the Silver Shield Warrior. So those are your commons. Next for the rares, you're looking at 25 cents Serpentine Soldier and Flame Imp. Look at the chicken is up to 75 cents. $4 is the most expensive rare currently, Cerberus. Moving to the epics for beta. Now you're looking at close to $1 is the floor. 89 cents for Spirit Shaman is the cheapest. Up to $30 for Mischievous Mermaid. And this is for a level 5. So you're looking at about $1.25 a piece. And then finally for your beta legendary cards, $5.45 for the Ifrit. Most expensive, Voldemort is $68.99. Prince Renan is $158, but these are for max copies. So there are 3 max copies on the marketplace for $158. So you're looking at only $14 per card. Where if you go to Voldemort, couple max copies here for right around $400 or $36 per card, but individual cards are a lot more expensive. You're looking at, basically $70 to $80 if you wanted to buy just an individual card. All right, next let's look at the gold foils. So gold foils are pretty much holding at $250 and above. You can see here beautiful cards. You can obviously tell these are gold foil. Okay, most expensive gold foil common is $12.32 for the Spearman. Moving to the rare, now you're getting right around $10 for the floor for a beta gold rare, $9.35 for Silver Shield Assassin, $9.48 for the chicken. Once again, very few of these are on the market. Most expensive, $89 for the Gremlin Blaster. Next are your epics. Now you're looking at $29 for Raging Impaler. Then it jumps from $29 all the way to $40.75 for the Fire Spitter. Most expensive epic is the Magi Sphinx at $185, the only one on the market. You can see all these cards on the market are 3 or less. And then finally your gold legendaries, $285 for Korjak, all the way up to $2,500 for Voldemort and Prince Renan. All right, so that's it for the core and reward cards. Let's look at the promo cards. Just your regular foil. We went through the prices in part 1. So 26 cents for the common, 32 for the rare, 275 for the epic, 78.44 for the red dragon. Archmage Arius was down from 500 to 420, and Prince Julian is still 500. And then the only gold foils are the common Delwyn for 266 and the legendary red dragon for 400. Okay, let's move on to orbs. So these are your commons for orbs, very small set, 6 cents to 56 for your commons. Your rares, there's only 3 in the set, 25 cents for the electric eel, 38 cents for the undead archer, and 47 cents for the silver shield bard. Epics, only 2 in the set, dwarven wizard for $1.03 and $1.50 for the mermaid healer. And then your legendaries, only these 3 cards. Lord of Fire for $5.75, Corrupted Pegasus for $7.98, and Minotaur Warlord for $9.31. And your gold cards, gold commons range from $2.54 to $5. Your gold rares, only 2 of the 3, $9.79 for the Bard and $39 for the Electric Eels. Neither one of the epics is available gold foil. And then your 3 legendary cards, $2.50 for the Lord of Fire, $300 for the Warlord, and $5.99 for the Corrupted Pegasus. That is it for Orb. So let's go next to Untamed. Your core and reward cards, regular foil commons, a penny for some of these. So remember guys too, if you're also looking for Cinder, you get a little more Cinder for these than you would for a Chaos Legion. So if you can find them at right around a penny. Might be a good idea to pick these up if you guys are looking for cinder. So start at a cent, all the way up to 23 cents for the sandworm. Next, your rares, you're looking at 5 to 6 cents is the floor, all the way to $1 for the princess. Let's take a quick look. What are the archons going for? Cheap is 9 cents for Mother Kala, up to 38 cents for Bortus. So if you guys are looking for archons for survival, might be a good idea. Pick some of these up. You can see there's not a ton of them on the market. So we'll see how successful survival mode is now. Next is epics. So now you're looking about 25 cents for the floor for an untamed epic. All the way up to $1.24 for the headhunter. And then finally your legendary cards start at $1.77 for Diamond Dragon. And then some of your key cards that we mentioned in part 1. Kitty is just under $50. Llama is at $22. Jotun is just under $17. Almo at $8.50. Kron at $8. Cornelius under $8. So some good prices for some of these. Okay. Now let's look at your gold commons. So gold commons, pretty much right above 50 cents. That's where we've seen them over the last few months. So 50 cents for a common, all the way up to the most expensive currently is $4.90 for the Elven Defender. Your gold rares start at $2.37 for the Goblin Chariot. Up to $6.65 for the Efreet Elder. Once again, let's look at the archons for gold foil. So basically, let's say $2.75 to $6 for a gold archon. So next are your epics. Epics are starting at $12 for Torhillo the Frozen. And they move all the way up in price to the Headhunter again at $167.04. And then finally your gold legendary cards from Untamed start at $88 for Camilla. All the way up to, look at, we got a couple cards at 2,000. 2,000 for Kron, Kitty, 1,000 for Cornelius. So very pricey cards. You can see also these are the only ones available on the marketplace. So a lot of these are just single copies. And the one that I mentioned in part 1 I think is an absolute steal is a llama for under $100. That to me just seems super cheap for that card. Not financial advice, just financial advice. Okay, let's go next to the promos. So your regular foil promos are just these 3 cards. The Alchemist at 66 cents, Chain Golem $7.95, and Mighty Dricken at $228.97. The 2 gold foil cards, the Alchemist is at $28.65, Chain Golem is at $64. And then next is dice. So your dice commons go from 1 cent up to 41 cents for the Flamesmith. Your rares, 10 cents to 95. So Mylar is currently at 90 cents. Actually, look at most of these are 95 cents. Your epics, 25 cents to 71. And then finally your legendary cards start at $3.35 up to $10.20 for Epona. And then the gold foil versions, commons 63 cents to $4.94. Your rares, which are your archons, $2.69 up to $19.99 for Mylor. Your epics, $14.89 to $28.80. And then finally your gold legendaries start at $80 up to $500 for Poseidon. All right, so next is everyone's favorite, Chaos Legion. So starting at a penny up to 4 cents for the Scavo Hireling. Next is your rares. Your rares start at 2 cents and go all the way up to 18 cents for Kelia. Your epics pretty much are 9-10 cents for the floor for your Chaos Legion epic cards, all the way up to 25 cents for Wave Brood. And then finally your Chaos Legendaries, right around 50 cents for the floor for these things. But some of the higher end ones, your Archons, are starting to move up a little bit in price. Now they're not super pricey, but still $2 and up. You know, months ago you went back and a lot of these were in the $1.50 range. Now you've got Quicks and you've got Possibilis holding at $4. So a little bit of price movement there for some of the Archons. Okay, so now moving on to the gold cards. Your gold commons start at 18 cents. And they go all the way up to 55 cents for a gold foil Deep Lurker. And then for max level copies, because you guys know I love these for land. So if you've got a max common, looking at just under $6 for a Gargoyle Lion. This is one that I just purchased a couple days ago for my $10 account. I picked up a gold Pellicor Bandit for $6.90. So there's a decent amount here, still under $8 for max copies, as you can see here. So you can choose many of the different splinters. But once again, look at how many are available for sale. Not very many at max level. So you look at these, 1, 2, 3 copies of these. There's 4 of the non-flying squid, 10 of the ever-hungry skull. That's probably the most. Nope, there's 12 for the Pellicor Mercenary and 11 for Cruel Cephalopod. So just a handful of most of these, though, if you guys are looking for land workers. So next are the gold rares. So those are starting just under 80 cents. All the way up to $9.80 for the Twilight Basilisk. This is kind of an outlier. Not sure why this one is so expensive. So that is for individual copy. Look at this, $9.80 for an individual copy. Then it jumps to $15, $17. That is crazy. A lot of individual copies, but you can get a max level one for about 90 cents a copy. That's about what it should be, about a 90-cent card. And then once again, if you want to look at how many max level cards there are for land, pretty good price. If you can get a max, yeah, look at this. A lot of these are 17. So I think it was when we did the last market watch, there weren't many under $20, $21. So there's a decent amount now under 18. So if you guys are looking to upgrade from max gold commons to rares, this would be a pretty good time, it looks like. So once again, not very many of these to choose from, but especially, you know, like I like the neutral ones, being able to get these the cheapest and being able to put them anywhere. It's a good deal, but there's not very many out there. Sorry, Wib. Okay, let's go next to the epics. So epics are in that 350 to 7 range. Actually, right now it's down to 6. So earlier in part 1, the most expensive was 7. So you're looking at $3.50 to $6 for a gold epic. Max level, what do we have available? So $37 for some of the cheaper ones, all the way up to $50 for Tidebiter. And it looks like there's, what, 3 or less of almost all of these? Yep, all of these, 3 copies or less. So there are a few out here, but not very many. So if you're looking to pick one up for land, don't delay too long. And then finally, let's look at your legendary gold cards. A little bit of movement already. The one that was the cheapest, it was like $21.87, is gone. So now you have a Torrent Spawn for $22, and then the floor quickly jumps to $25, $26 and up. Most expensive currently is a Grum at $117. I'm guessing that's for a max copy. Yep, max copy. So you're looking at about $30 a card, which seems about right, but no individual copies of Grum. So let's look at max level. Usually is around 100. Yep, so about $110 for a max gold legendary chaos card. all the way up to 150 for a max astral entity. And I'm going to keep opening Chaos Legion packs from time to time. Hopefully I can get one of these gold legendaries, because that will definitely be a land card. Alright, so that's it for Chaos Legion Core and Reward. So now let's look at the Soulbound reward cards. So your commons go from 4 to 15 cents. Your rares start at 24 cents up to 84 cents. Your epics, 99 cents to 5.85. And your legendaries start at $5.99 up to $99.90 for Tracious Hulk. Everyone hated this card. There's so many people I think that burned this card. There's not very many out there. So you can see there's almost 24,000 in circulation, but there's almost none that were unbound to be able to put on the marketplace. So even though you think there's a ton of them out there, there's really not. You can see here the only one is a max level card for $99.90. Let's look at a couple of the better ones to see how many are actually for sale. So there's almost 300 Izziars that are available to be put on the marketplace. Kulu, $385. Avis, $223. The Raider, $214. So anywhere from 200 to 300 for most of the other legendaries. Okay, next let's look at the gold foils. So your gold foil commons go from 94 cents to $3.99. Your rares from $3.77 up to $39. Your gold epics, $12.50 up to $175. And then finally your gold legendaries. There are 12 in the set. There's only 5 currently on the marketplace. Anywhere from $79 from Kulu up to $199.95 for Skak. Okay, let's look now at the promo cards. So we went through all these in part 1. The 2 cards I wanted to highlight, just because they are pretty low in price compared to where they have been. Waka is actually now down to $35, and this is for a max level Archon. And there is a Lux Vega for $100. Actually, it looks right here, there is one for $95, one for $99. So there are a handful of them, 110 or less, if anyone is interested. And then the gold foil versions, Lux Vega at $6.99. This is the cheapest that I've seen it. Usually, as you can see, it's a $1,000 to $2,000 card. Someone has it listed right here for $6.99. And there are only 63 cards in circulation for the gold foil. All right, let's go now to Rift Watchers. So your Rift Watcher cards, the commons start at a penny, go to 6 cents. The rares, 5 cents to, look at this, 60 cents for Scavo Technomancer. Your epics, 18 cents to $3.50 for Fernheart. I think last time we did the Market Watch, there weren't any Fernhearts for sale. So this is the first time in a couple weeks that I've seen him actually on the market. Yep, $3.50 a copy. Some max level copies, looks like for $91, $50, and $99. And then finally your legendaries from Rift Watchers go from 75 cents up to $7.57 for C-Rec. And this is a card I will be giving away this month, probably the middle of the month, to channel members. So if you are not a channel member yet of Buy Me a Coffee, it's a great time to get in, and I will be doing a random drawing. I believe I only have 5 members, so you got a pretty good chance of pulling a C-Rec. Okay, let's go now to the golds. So your gold common cards, 22 cents to $1.87. Your rares start at 91 cents up to $4.91, once again for the Scavo Technomancer. Your epics, which are Archons, $4.60 up to $10.76 for Ilthane. And then finally your gold legendaries. These are really holding nice value. $27.55 is the cheapest, up to $200 for the Ancient Redwood. This to me seems very, very low. Inevitable and C-Rec are the 2 most expensive cards in the set, but they're both $47.50. much cheaper than the other cards. I would say these two cards are a very good buy at this price. Okay, so that's it for Riff Watchers. This week, let's do a little different. Let's just go right up the list. So let's go to Foundations next. So your commons, of course, are a penny. So there's so many of these out there. The rares, the only cards, of course, of interest are the Archons. So they are now down from 4 to 9 cents. So you can max these out pretty easily. You only need 25 copies of each. The Epics went through prices in part 1, 2 cents up to 25 cents. And then finally your legendaries go from 3 cents up to 61 cents for the Mystic Scale Weaver. And then your gold cards, even some of the gold commons are a penny, up to 50 cents for the Taunt card for the Aegis. Your gold rares start at 5 cents, go up to $1.36 for the Archons. Your epics range from 29 cents up to $6.38 for Lady Amara. And your gold legendaries, $1.49 up to $9.98 for the Musketeer. And then all the different foil variants. So your black foil commons start at $2.95. Go all the way up to $7.97 for the Dread Teferian. Your rare cards start at $5, all the way up to $200 for one of the Archons. So you can see the other Archons are more affordable, $58, but then a couple of these, $19, $14.70, and $12. So if you want to bling out your deck, you can get 3 of them for under 20 bucks a piece. The black foil epics start at $6.99 up to $250 for SL. If I could sell it for $250, I would definitely sell the one that I have for $250. And then finally your legendaries, only 2 are listed, $75 and then $77.70. All right, next are the gold arcanes. So gold arcanes start at $6.48 up to $99.99 for the Dread Teferian. And there are 50 of each of these, 50 of each of the common. And then next for the rare, I believe the rares are numbered to 25. Yep, they are numbered to 25. Hey, there's a great card right there. I think someone should pick that one up. That is a fantastic. There is only one card in existence that is number 23 or 25. So if you want that card, I definitely think you should get that card. All right. Epics, $50 and $300. The epics for Foundations are numbered to 10. And I don't think there were any legendaries for sale. Nope, I think the legendaries are numbered to 5. And then, of course, your Black Arcane. For the commons, there's not very many on the market, $21.98 up to $99. For the rares, there's only 5 available, anywhere from $40 to $150. The epics, there's 2, Saltwater Mage for $69, Sorrow Harvester for $249, and then gold arcane legendaries, there are none. Just as a reminder, guys, tomorrow morning is the drawing for the raffle where you could maybe get lucky and get one of these awesome cards. So don't forget about doing your frontier battles. Okay, and then the jackpot cards. So your regular foil jackpot cards, you've got the common at 17 cents, the rare at 94 cents, the epic at $2.99, and then the hard to get legendary at $25.50. For the gold variants, $6.64 for the common, $7.80 for the rare, $11.20 for the epic, and then $38.98 for the legendary. Black foil version is just for the rare at $120. The gold arcane common is $36.49, and there are no black arcanes for sale. All right. Rebellion. Let's just look at Rebellion Core. So your Rebellion commons start at a penny and go all the way up to 45 cents. Your rares start at 4 cents, Go all the way to $1.35 for the Soothsayer. Your epics start at 22 cents, up to $1.71 for Captain Failblade. And then finally your legendaries start at $1.22, and all the way up to some of the key cards in the set. This has already come down. From when I did part 1, there was a single copy for 60. Now it looks like there's probably a single copy. Yep, there's that copy for 60. Since then, there's been a single copy for 40 and a single copy for 39. If you're looking at a max level copy, you can get one for about $19 per card. There's also some in the $23, $24 range. And we went through the key legendaries in part 1. Just want to kind of show you so you can take a look and see how many are currently on the marketplace. All right, let's look now at the gold commons. So these start at 31 cents, then quickly jump 36, 38. So you're looking at 40 cents or more for most of these. All the way up to $20 for one of the Archons. Gold rare start at 92 cents. All the way up to Moxin Rebel for $9.50. Gold epics start at $3.36, up to $14.99. And then finally your gold legendary cards start at just over $25. Up to the most expensive currently is Venka at $199.99. We went through the prices on most of these cards in part 1, but as you can see, there's just a handful of these gold legendaries on the marketplace. There was not a ton of Rebellion opened. A lot of it was burnt. And you can see, even for a new modern card, there's less than 100 gold tofus in circulation. Okay, so that's it for the core. Let's look now at, let's go to the reward cards next. So let's start with the commons. So your common rewards, 3 cents up to 18 cents. So there was a buyout of this one where they were bought out and relisted. This is normally a 4 or 5 cent card. Rares, 14 cents up to 45 cents for Commander Slade. The epics, 90 cents for Olivia the Brook, up to 221 for Thanalorian Blade. And then your legendary cards go from $4.02 up to $6.94. And then the gold versions, $1.19 to $1.77 for your common cards. Your rares start at $4 up to $12. Your epics, $17.59 for the Shock Trooper, up to $45 for the Blade. And then finally your gold legendaries, there are none on the marketplace. Okay, promo cards. So we went through all of the promo cards, regular foil and gold foil, in part 1. I'll just scroll through this a little bit so you guys can see how many are currently on the marketplace. As you can see, as you get into the legendaries, there's just a few. 7, 9. There's hardly ever a gold foil Rick Loneman on the market. And then some of these other gold legendaries, you can see there's just 2 of each of these on the marketplace. So very, very low liquidity on these Rebellion promo cards. All right, so now Conclave Arcana. So just the core set. Regular foil commons, looking at 1 cent up to 7 cents for your commons. Of course, these are still in print, still in circulation. The rares start at 12 cents and go all the way up to $1.15 for Kalia Silverleaf. So the Archons, for the most part, are still holding above $1 for most of them. And then you've got Gorgug at 50 cents and the Dragon at 55 cents. Still some other rares at a decent price. Epics, 32 cents and up for the epics. Up to 69 cents for Blazebeard Merc. And then finally your legendary cards start at $2.66 for Craniacs. Up to $13.25 for Oridum Greybrow. You can see some of the legendary summoners have already come down in price. Elowin at 10, Captain Frankie at 9, Loving the Moo under $8. Okay, now let's look at the gold versions. So your gold commons start at 24 cents. Go all the way up to 88 cents for Cavewise. Your rares start at $1.04 for Swiftbeard Stout. All the way up to $9.79 for Kalia Silverleaf. So the Archons, remember guys, when these were all $10, $12, $15 on up, so they have come down under 10 bucks a piece. Your epics start at $3.76 up to $7.12 for Lucky Longshot. And then finally your gold legendaries start at $29.40 all the way up to $77.22. Now for all the different foil versions, your black foil commons just under $43 for a common. Absolutely beautiful cards. All the way up to 80. The rares start at 110 up to 700. Your epics, you can see here, 250 to 499. And then your black foil legendaries, there are only 3 available for sale. So next are your gold arcane commons, start at 30. Gold arcane rares, only 5 available for sale, $49.95 to $60. Your epics, there's only Ferris Brewer at $109.99, and gold arcane legendaries, there are none on the market. Let's just look at the complete list of black arcanes. That's it, guys, for all the rarities. You've got 2 commons, and surprisingly, the epic is cheaper than the commons at $3.95. And this is a fantastic card, so I think this might be underpriced. Hint, hint. Okay. So that's it for the core. Let's do the reward cards next, and then we'll do the promos. So reward cards, these are currently in print. So 2 cents for the commons, 7 to 11 cents for the rares, 44 cents to $1.15 for the epics, and your legendaries $2.50 to $5. Gold foils, 22 cents to 32 cents. Rares, 60 cents to $2.19. $3.20 to $24.98 for the epics, and your legendaries $27 to $58.85. Okay, let's look at the black foil versions. So your commons start at $21.90 to $65. Black foil rares $34 to $140. Black epics $170 to $350. And then the legendaries, there's 4 available for sale, $380 up to $650. And then your arcane versions, you can see not even all the commons are represented in arcane on the marketplace. So starting at just over $12 to $150 for the commons, $23 to $388 for the rares, $62 to $98.77 for the epics, and $175 to $225 for your legendaries. And then finally your black arcanes, commons $65 to $150, rares $130 to $350, epic just Tanny, he's the only one there for $220, and legendary, and this is a 1-of-1 Syrah for $12.99.99. Okay, let's look at the promo cards next. Once again, the promos we went through in part 1. Let's kind of break this down a little bit so it's easier to see. So your common, the pickle, 11 cents, $189 for the gold, $1,000 for the gold arcane. The rares, Skinwalker, 74 cents, $518 for the gold, $300 for a gold arcane, and then the new card Duldris, 92 cents, $828 for a gold, $333 for a gold arcane, and this is limited to 25. And then you have the black foil for $429, and I think there was 50 of those. Not quite sure, but I know there's more black foil than the arcane, but the arcane is cheaper. Okay, then the epics. Got some of the voucher cards, $274 for Tasoshi, $72.01 for the gold, and then Culveria, $335 regular foil, $24.74 for the gold, and $479 for a gold arcane, and this is number 210. And you can see 3 of the 10 are listed for sale. And then let's look at the legendaries. So the new card, Portianeer, $725, $82.50 for a gold, $14.50 for a black foil. Gramel the Hunger is $920, with the gold being $64.40 and the black foil for $1,000. Dargatum is only available currently regular foil $21.55, and Archmage Yabanus at $47.47. Okay, extra cards. So these are jackpot cards and some other random cards. So we got regular foils. So for your jackpot cards, we've got the common at 28 cents, the rare at 31 cents, the beaver at 55, your epic at 350, and the legendary at $52. Luckiest long shot at 39 cents, and the arena fanatic at 49 cents. For the gold foil versions, $386 for the common jackpot, $575 for the rare, $14.99 for the rare beaver, $44 for the epic, and $200 for the legendary. Gold arena fanatic at $737. Black foil rare runekeeper, $399.99. The epic is at $1,000. Gold variant of the common card is $137. And are there any black arcanes? Yes, a black arcane Busy Beaver for $399. And then finally, guys, the newest set, Escalation. So the commons currently are selling 3 to 8 cents. You can see a ton of them have already been opened and dumped on the marketplace. The rares, 9 cents to 30 cents. Once again, a couple hundred of most of these, if not several hundred on the marketplace. The epics, 54 cents to $1.74. Over 100 of each of these on the market. And then finally your legendary cards. There are 11 in the set, all represented here, ranging from $410 to $850. You can see a decent amount of most of these on the marketplace, and of course this one has the fewest. There's only 17 copies. Now for all the different foil variations, the gold foil commons, 44 cents to $1.40. Your rares, $1.20 to $2.79. Your epics, $7.67 to $21.14. And your legendaries, $53.35 up to $99. Next would be the black foil variants. So your commons, 85 to $185.26. Your rares, $198 to $475. Your epics, there's only one currently for $1,100. And black legendaries, you've got 5 here, ranging from $999 up to $2,800. All right, and now for the gold arcane. Gold arcane commons, $34 to $110. Your rares, $60 to $500. I was lucky enough, as you can see here, pulled one of these yesterday, opening my last 10 Escalation. Was so excited to get that card. Epics, $135 to $320. And then legendaries, there are 3 legendary gold arcanes. So you've got Akora at $488.90. Kiraseth at $649.99. and Azure at 850. And then finally, your Black Arcane. So the commons range from $100 to $399. Your rares $299 to $999. Your epics, there's just one for sale currently for $499. And legendary, this is the one of one, $3,200. You can see here, pulled by Michael B. Is that it? Did we make it? Did we get there? Did we go through everything? I think we did. We made it, guys. We got there in under 50 minutes. So thanks for hanging out with me in episode number 55 of the Splinterlands Market Watch. This is part 3 for March 1st, 2026. So excited with Escalation. Got some good pulls from it already. I've seen a ton of notifications. The set seems to be very well received and very powerful. We'll see how the set sales going forward. Let's take a quick look before we wrap up the video what pack sale or pack prices are at on the secondary market. Currently, you can still get it for, 5,000 credits, 5,000 DEC, or 350 SPS, or you can buy it on the secondary market. It looks like just under $2 a pack. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the card market watch, and as always, stay the course, keep on forging, have fun, and good luck in tomorrow morning's Frontier Draw. Take care.